Good to go? All right. Welcome, everybody, to Season 3, Episode 25 of Motivate Me 313's podcast. We are officially live and ready to get this show on the road. We got to give a shout out, first of all, to all the people who are in the building today. Shout out to little big bro Yusuf Thabit in the back doing his ones and twos as always. We appreciate him and his support. To the right of me, you got my sister Sada Thabit. Also to the right of me, you got my other sister, Abir Thabit. Of course, you got myself, Omar T, in the building. And then to the left of us, our guest for today. I mean, we should have had like a mask on him and then do like a reveal or something. You know what I'm saying? Our guest for today is Moussa from TCD, the city of Dearborn page. I'm excited to have him on the show today, man. You know, it's funny because I'm going to be honest with you, I was just telling him before the show started, we recently moved to this area. So, we're still learning the ways and everything, but I never knew who was the man behind TCD. So, first of all, give him another round of applause for being in the building today. Nice to have you here. Thank you for being here today, Moussa.
I just want to thank you guys for having me. This is very out of character for me, so I might be a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I asked him, I was like, man, he's probably gonna say no because, like I said, I'm sure that like you said, this is not something you do. But alhamdulillah, you said yeah. So basically, we're gonna ask him all the questions that comes to our heads, anything that talks about the page and everything else in between. So we're looking forward to that. We hope that you guys are at home. You guys, if y'all watching live, feel free to shoot away questions. We'll be sure to ask him as well. He said that, he's an open book today. So anything y'all want to ask, anything you want to address, we'll do that. But before we get into all that, obviously, we got to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, the Balkan House, Juice Box, Qahwah House, BC Adhesives, Specialty Medical Center, and Hanley International Academy. Also, got to make sure we tell you to be sure to follow us on all of our socials, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all under Oz Media. You'll be able to listen to this show later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. And if you want to call in, the number is 313-306-1750. Again, 313-306-1750. We're going to start off with the restaurant who just had their 5-year anniversary yesterday, which is the Balkan House restaurant. So shout out to the Balkan House, and then we're going to officially dive in and talk to Moussa about all the stuff that he has done with the TCD. So shout out to the Balkan House.
You know what, Yusuf, man? I'm in the mood for some Balkan food.
Yeah, man, me too.
Well, there's no better place to go for Balkan than the Balkan House restaurant. The Balkan House restaurant is famous for their doner kebab sandwiches. But did you know that the Balkan House now serves breakfast? Did you also know that all their food is 100% halal? There are currently 2 Balkan House locations, one in Hamtramck and one in Ferndale. But they now also have 2 food trucks, so you can book your next party or event with the Balkan House on wheels. If you're looking for a nice place to eat with friendly service and great prices, look no further than the Balkan House restaurant.
All right. We are officially back, ready to get this show rolling, all right? So with that said, first of all, Moussa, how are you? How's everything? Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, I grew up in Dearborn all my life. I would like to think I'm doing okay, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah.
I got my health, which matters. As you get older, you start realizing how much your health matters. So alhamdulillah for that, and seeing what's going on overseas and having a baby daughter myself. So
Mabruk, man, mabruk.
Allah barik fik. And you just realize just how really blessed we are when you see like every day the trauma people go through, whether it's here locally or overseas. You just sit back and sometimes you ask God, why did you choose to bless me? Why did I get why do I get such a good life here and other people are suffering?
Yeah.
So that crosses my mind a lot, especially when, you're in the type of business as I am. You come across a lot of very like messed up stories and
it's not easy on the mind, man. It's not easy.
No, it's not. It's really not. It does take a toll on your mental health. And I'm sure everybody actually, what we've been witnessing, the past 6 months has been very hard on everybody. And when you have kids, I don't know if you guys have kids.
Yeah, I have 2 daughters.
So, okay. So you know how, yeah.
She has a son that's right there.
Behind.
Oh, mashallah, man.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed. Well,
Not that one. Maybe that one back there. Maybe if he stands up. Okay, yeah, he's that one. A little bit younger. That's our brother right here, Yusuf.
No.
That's right. Yeah.
So I mean, you have daughters, and
Yeah.
like, I don't know, man. It's just
It's tough. It's very tough,
yeah.
like you said, man. But again, we appreciate you for being here.
Thank you.
Today, and we already got people asking questions. Who updates him with the news to post? So that let's wait off on this, and then we have Oz Media and TCD, the voices we need in our community. The Corner Pocket. Shout out to the Corner Pocket.
great people.
Yeah, great guys, man.
Great lounge.
We actually had these guys on the show as well, both of them. So we appreciate them, and we appreciate the brothers right there. With that said, but before the man with TCD, right? Like it's the
I'll make it easy.
Yes.
I'll tell you guys exactly how this started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that. Even before though, I want to know what
So-
were you doing beforehand?
So I'm a high school dropout.
Wow.
I dropped out of Dearborn Public Schools. My highest grade point average was a 0.5 GPA.
Nice.
I was terrible at school. Like, my dad used to be embarrassed to go to the parent-teacher conference.
Like, why? Why did you not, like...
I have terrible ADHD.
Okay.
I cannot focus for the life of me. I am very all over the place. My wife, God bless her, I do not know how she puts up with me. God sent her to me. I'm being honest with you. I am all over the place. But so high school for me was rocky. But Dearborn schools does have a good. Well, I don't know if they still have it, but DVA, they send you to this magnet school to catch up on your credits, and it was like this high school where you get all the people at risk for dropping out from Etzel, Fortson, and Dearborn. They put you all in one class. It was fun.
God bless the teacher.
Yeah.
The teacher, guys.
Yeah, I made up like 2 or 3 years of credits within a year, and I'll never forget. I will never forget Fortson High School graduation in 2010. I drove by there and I was watching them walk, and some other kid that dropped out with me, he was in his car and he pulled up next to me. He was like, man, that should have been us up there. I was so depressed that day, and I still had summer school. So I was a super senior in summer school. Like, I still had another year to make up, and I was in summer school. It was worst.
Yeah.
Terrible. So back to TCD. It used to be a car page. Back in like 2012, we had like probably like 300 followers. It was about cars. It was never about Dearborn.
That's why you guys be putting like a scat pack on whenever y'all talk about Dearborn.
I'm a massive car guy. I love cars.
Okay.
Cars are, that's my only thing that like I look forward to is cars. But it used to be a car page in like 2012. It was called Team Shittin'.
That's funny.
That's the name of the page. I know it's very.
By the way, I graduated in 2010 as well. By the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So same age, same class. But
Yep.
it was a car page, and then after a couple months, it was a restaurant page for some restaurant called Location Cafe. It used to be like by the Mobile on Warren and Schaefer, where Sky Crepe is now. That was there for a couple months. I changed the name of it, and it only had like 400 followers at the time to help the guy out. And then that ended up closing down. And then one day I was just driving around with my friend in Dearborn. I'm like, man, people probably like that are traveling right now probably miss Dearborn. They probably want to like, see what's going on in Dearborn and whatnot. So I just started posting like random videos of Dearborn. And, it just started with, history was a big thing about it. I think the page started off with like history because I was so intrigued by like the tunnels underneath Fortson High School. And I used to work at my dad's store. And while I'm at work, I'll be on Google, like looking up old pictures of Dearborn because I was so excited to share them and be like, guys, this is how Dearborn looked back then. And my dad will come in and he'll be like, what are you doing wasting your time?
Yeah.
like stop this and everything. And it was, he wasn't a fan of it. And then like I focused a lot on history, and then somebody very important came into the picture. I was focusing on history, and then slowly like accidents or like little things happening, and fender bender accidents, like small accidents and all that. And then out of nowhere, somebody by the name of Mo Cass, okay, this guy was like at every single scene and like just posting these accidents too. I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
I'm like, where did you come from? You know. So we ended up like talking, and then I'm like, hey, you know, come join me. I think me and you kind of have the same passion of Dearborn, and you know, we both love our city. And the rest was history. So like he joined me. We started posting like accidents, and you know, that's how it started. Accidents, history. You know, like small things. You know,
Yeah.
a picture of a street. You know. And then it just started to grow. The followers started to grow, and you know, we went to like 10,000 followers, and then 20,000 followers. But this TCD, in my opinion, this City of Dearborn page, that page, in my opinion, it hurts me to say it, but I don't think it exists anymore. You know, it's not the page it once was. This page now is a whole new beast. It's a whole new animal that you have to respect. You have to be extremely cautious with it. It's not that one community page that it used to be. I feel like if you want to look at, you know, somebody who's more community oriented now, probably Khaled Fujunki, in my opinion. You know, because he's doing the work that TCD used to do back in like 2014, 2015. You know, that's not what TCD is anymore, and there's several reasons for that.
For reasons for better, though, I feel like.
For reasons for better, in the sense that you realize the page is called Dearborn, but it's definitely a lot more than Dearborn. You have 210,000 followers. I say probably 60,000 of those are only from Dearborn. The rest are from Dearborn Heights. Our biggest locations are Canton, Westland, Livonia. We have a lot of Hamtramck, Detroit. It's more so of an Arab American page. It leans Arab American.
Yeah.
Naturally, by bias, it's going to lean Arab American.
Yeah.
It's going to cater towards its audience, towards its focus group, you know.
And that's okay, by the way, for people that are like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we focus on, like, you have to cater to your audience.
Yeah.
You have to cater to your audience.
Yeah.
And the Dearborn Heights audience, they're mostly Arab American, younger. They're a lot of people, sons and daughters of refugees from Yemen, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, Palestine. You have to cater because, you know, this is your focus. This is your group. It's your audience. So, and I'm sure you could see that from the news cycle. You will see that it does cater towards more so towards the Arab American audience. That's the audience that it caters.
So there's something that we have to, like, you know, put out there. So basically, growing up for me, it was Detroit News, Detroit Free Press, right? You know, like I used to work at the gas station on the weekends or whenever I used to come back home from school, and grab a newspaper, right? The media has evolved big time over the last 10, 15 years, where now everybody's getting their news on their phones. Like literally, I think newspapers are literally as close to extinction as they can be. So now with that and that trend of you know, like the city of Dearborn growing in the last 10, 15 years, like you had mentioned, and being what it is, like as you were talking, I was like, man, you know what, let me look up Detroit News, Detroit Free Press, you know, and Detroit News, 117K. Detroit Free Press, 163K. Like, mashallah, Moussa, like, I don't think you understand, like, you are the news for the people. Like, I go to the TCD.
Yes.
No, do y'all go to Detroit News or Detroit Free Press?
No, never.
Do you
Never
go-
have.
Never have. Like,
No, never.
Like, I'm trying to
Even
tell you.
for snow days, like us teachers are wondering, how does this guy or this group of people know when we have a snow day before we do?
Look,
Do you got a weatherman behind the TCD?
I am not a journalist. I'm gonna make that very clear. I know I used to get hammered for that, but
What is
I
a
wanna
journalist?
say, I want to say I'm a journalist now. Back then,
Okay.
before COVID, we're talking about 2018, 2019, and you know, before then, we would have to ask other news sites, hey, can we use this article? And we would have to cite them, and it literally used to be like us asking for permission. Then we have to copy paste it, and then we have to credit them. I'm like, and then when you start growing bigger and bigger, it's like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I don't want to rely on other news articles. I don't want to sit down and wait for, you know,
Someone to write something, and
then I have to ask that journalist, hey, do you mind if we use this? We'll credit you and we'll put you blah blah. And It works out both ways because we used to generate traffic to their website and it used to generate traffic to that journalist and whatnot. But ever since I want to say end of 2019 is when I started stepping back from that and trying to do things on my own. And fast forward to today, like it's very rare that only if we're, for example, the Associated Press, if they release something and we cite the AP because we're members with the AP, like we pay for it and whatnot. Like that's like probably the only time if there's something and even citing them in the sense that like if something major happens overseas or something, it's a credible source to cite. For the majority, most of the time it's like credible. But like all these crime posts that you see, I type them up. I literally type them up. I am that's my specialty in my opinion. I never do investigative journalism in the sense that I'll get a DM saying, "Oh, this guy screwed me over out of money." I'm just like, "I'm sorry, I don't touch that stuff." Only if there was an armed robbery. I could literally play out the story, come up with a headline. Obviously, headlines matter. You gotta have very creative headlines to catch the audience's attention and all that. But it's Free Press and Detroit News. They do a lot of good in-depth journalism. Like they do like great in-depth reporting. Like Arab American News will do like in-depth reporting. They'll like interview you and everything. But for TCD, it's more
it's geared more towards maybe
it's for like the younger crowd that just want the info fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
I want to know the main point of view.
Yeah.
it's the
With a
new
picture.
Yeah.
You just want you want to get the info quick. We're not here to give you like the full details about it.
If you want to do it on your own research, go ahead and do it. But I'm just
we're just gonna give you like what we know and all that, and it's so. But you're right. The newspapers, like I've noticed it. Like I don't know, like the future of the newspapers. It's going to be very hard, especially with social media. It's crazy because you're fighting against time. Time is your biggest enemy. Like when a major incident happens in Dearborn, I feel like I have to get it up right then and there. Because if you don't report on it first, somebody else will, and when they report on it first, that's it. You're gonna take that L. You're gonna,
because you're thinking about a person. Like let's say they see the news one time, they're not gonna want to read it the second time. That's what you're pretty much saying.
I mean, it's old news.
Yeah.
For me, old news like right now, if like something happened an hour ago,
It's old news now.
overseas or something, I have a few fake accounts where I follow people. I have to. And
Burners.
Burners. And the second, and if on my burners, if I start seeing it on people's stories, this certain article, I'm like, it's done.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it hit Dearborn, it's done. I shouldn't even report on it because that's it. You lost your shares. You lost your like it's people already shared it from that source. So you have to be extremely quick. But being quick comes with a price because sometimes you could get the information wrong.
Yeah.
Even if the source is a credible source, it happens where credible sources get their information messed up. It happened many times, especially like with what happened in with what's going on in Palestine. It's so easy to get misinformation from like overseas. You have to be so careful. And I think out of the 6 months, there was probably, I would say, 2 articles I had to remove because I found out like it wasn't exactly what I reported on. I'm like, oh, okay, this is wrong. I have to remove it.
Yeah.
But that's because like the original source who's supposed to be credible, like let's say the overseas news sites that are credible major networks, they got it wrong as well. So, it happen. It comes with a price, but
And the price. Speaking of the price, anxiety.
Very bad anxiety. Very
Talk to us
bad.
a little bit about that, man. I mean,
Do you
like,
read the comments? Do you care about the comments? Or you
Look,
just block it out?
I used to probably like 4 years ago. I used to sit down and I see how people like bash the page and whatnot, and it used to get to me. I'll be honest with you guys. I used to sit down and be like, man, what am I doing wrong? Look, this page doesn't come with a manual. It does not. There's nobody there to tell you how to run an account with.
we might have a caller, by the way.
Oh, I'm scared.
I mean, I don't know because it's a random number though, so we'll see. We'll see. I gotta connect it.
Forts and movers. To
Oh.
accept, press 1.
You know who it
To send a
is?
Voicemail,
All
press
right.
2.
All right, who do we have calling in today?
Oh my God.
This is Mansoor of Forts and Movers.
What's going on, Mansoor from Forts and Movers? How are
What's
you?
going on, brother? I'm great. How about yourself? I love the show. I appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you.
I had a question for Mr. Moussa Dakroub.
Yes, sir, Moussa. He's listening.
We just wanted to know how stressful his job is on a day-to-day basis. And if yeah, go ahead. That's the question I have as of right now. And then I have a follow-up question right after.
All right, go ahead. We're kind of almost on that conversation.
Let me tell you guys how my day looks.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to get to a point where you have enough connections and sources in the community that they tip you off on leads to stories. Okay. For example, let's say, God forbid, overnight at 3 a.m., somebody got carjacked for, let's say, their Range Rover. That's a good story.
Yeah.
That it's crime. Crime always does the best. I know people want positive news, but crime, the numbers on the crime stories are the highest numbers. Crime blows any positive story out the water. I hate to say it, but the numbers don't lie by double.
If you watch like the news networks, they start off with the bad. It's always it's always the crime and stuff.
So you have to have these sources and connections that tip you off on this. So let's say, for example, I'm not saying any cops give me any info, but let's say a cop messages you at they're working night shift 3 a.m. be like, hey, so-and-so happened at, like the 7200 block of Calhoun,
Yeah.
armed robbery, murder, whatever it is. So you wake up the next day and you check your phone. You're like, oh, okay, so this is something I should follow up on. You call up, I call up my contacts at Dearborn Police. Usually ever since Abdullah became mayor, I go through, Shaheen, Issa Shaheen, the police chief, great police chief, by the way. Very transparent, never tries to hide anything, never tries to downplay it. He gives you how it is. He makes sure that information that I put out is accurate. So Dearborn Police checks me. If I put out something that's not accurate, I promise you, I will get a call within the same 5 minutes, getting punked out, be like, this is wrong. You need to fix it. Just like that. They will call me out. So,
That's good. That's good.
which
though.
is great for the followers.
Yeah.
But it stresses you out.
Well, it doesn't really stress me out anymore because I could call them and I could get the story right. But there's even times where they even might get the story a little. You'll never get, for example, there was a stabbing at the Kroger in Dearborn Heights. There was like a stabbing incident, one of the parties involved gave us the police report and everything. And then even with something like that, there's like very small details that, but he didn't do this. He did this instead, But at the end of the day, somebody got stabbed.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's not, road rage incident, stabbing, that's what occurred, So there's always going to be like fine details that, you can never get 100%. But for the most part, like every crime story that goes up, especially in Dearborn, about Dearborn, it's confirmed by like the police. It goes like I have to confirm. It's a responsibility. You can't put something out there and be like, oh, this and this happened, and no, you have to confirm it. And I appreciate that relationship that I have, in order for me to be able to have accessibility like that with the police department.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it works both ways where they appreciate.
Definitely. I mean, they needed something out there. They gotta
for sure.
put it out there.
Yeah.
So going back to your day to day, how your day
So
looks.
I wake up in the morning, my heart is racing, obviously, to make sure my page is still up.
That's
you know?
every day, every morning.
Every day you
So
got
you're confirming that you actually do sleep,
Real
by the
quick,
way.
guys, are you still with me?
Yeah.
Are you guys still with me?
Yeah.
All right, sorry. I'm going to hang up now, but after he's done answering this question, I just want to see, well, TCD, because it sounds pretty stressful on just one man. Will they be hiring in the near future to kind of lower the stress on this person or this group that's running TCD?
So
that's my following question after he's done answering the question I asked before that. I need to hang up now because I am on the road on my Bluetooth and the kids are going to start screaming any second.
All right. No problem, man. Thank you for the call. We'll be sure to answer both of them.
So
yeah, I'll be listening in on my radio. Thank you.
No problem.
All right.
Yeah, waking up, the first thing I think I do is I make sure it's still there.
Yeah.
You never know, man. Especially with Sean King's Instagram getting shut down, and you know, like we report on overseas stuff a lot. You never know. Honestly, you never know. And then I start checking my group chats. I start checking, my messages. I see what Mocas sent me. Mocas is probably one of the most lethal guys when it comes down to information in Dearborn I have ever met. That guy is absolutely dangerous. I feel like sometimes he knows more than what he's supposed to know. It's insane the amount of resources that guy has. So he's very vital in my day-to-day operations. And I have to I will forever be in debt to Mocas. He helped shape TCD to what it is today. So I get up, I check, I look at these chats, I see what I'm missing. I check other certain my email. You get a lot of press releases through the email, from the state of Michigan, from Dearborn schools, whatever it is, police departments around the city. Check to see if any press releases came out that day. I have two people. They want to
Remain silent.
Remain anonymous.
I mean, remain silent.
They
talk about so much police. I said remain silent.
I call them the twins.
Nice.
The twins are also a beast. They help me out a lot. They help me find stories. They help me because, for example, something as small as Dairy Queen giving away free cones. That if you're just active on like looking through social media, like looking through like other news, because other news in other states might pick it up, and it's valid for, like, let's say Michigan, that Dairy Queen's giving out free ice cream.
Yeah, a
story like that gets you shares. It helps grow your audience. So it's just like waking up and just like going through your phone, looking at social media and seeing the DMs. The DMs are a very big deal. I always look at, okay, what did people send overnight? Car break-ins, vehicle theft, sometimes big scenes, and then I have to go back and replay my scanner. Everybody could download a police scanner on their phone. I don't know if it's legal or not, but
when I called him, I hear the police scanner in the background. I was just like playing. I'm like, wow.
My wife is so sick of it.
Yeah,
it's on almost all the time at the house.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go.
What was the most stories that you've posted in one day?
Oh my God, there was,
and it also tells your schedule too, how you do it.
There was, I think last week it was actually pretty hot in Dearborn. You had something. It was like nonstop police activity. There's a lot of stories that I don't put up either. A lot of like. Look, once again, this page did not come with a guide, and let me tell you guys how. I had to learn the hard way. And I had to learn by, in my opinion, sacrificing my reputation.
Right.
Because there are things that I've done that at the time I did not know any better. I was still very young. I did not know any better. I'll give you guys very good examples. There was a time a young man got shot and killed in the South End. Allah yarhamu. I can't bring the name up right away to my head, but I remember his body was laying in the middle of the street and it had a white tarp over it. Okay. I posted this picture with the body in the white tarp, thinking that it's okay, the body's covered. But some people might agree, some people might disagree, but I don't think that's appropriate anymore. Yeah. So But that's something I learned through the hard way, and I learned that the Arab American community especially are not very fond of that kind of reporting. So after getting annihilated in the comments and through my DMs, I learned my lesson. I'm like, okay, this is wrong, and I could see how it's wrong. Another time was, this was like 6-7 years ago, somebody got killed on Chase, and we posted it, and it showed the body in the video, and I wasn't vigilant on that. I remember I just rushed. I put up the video right away. I didn't bother to check it or proofread nothing, or I thought this was like in 2014 or 15. He was riding on a motorcycle, older man, and it showed his body in the video, and I posted it. I shut my phone right away. I'm like, oh, okay, I got that up, whatever. I opened my phone up an hour later, and I just see a bunch of comments, and the family is upset and everything. But now that it trains you in a way, and you learn that, okay, now you have to be vigilant of what you put up. You have to be very careful of what you put up. Double check your videos. Monitor your comments. Monitor it for a while. Like, don't just take a video somebody sent you, toss it up without double checking it. Even the sound on a video. There was times where I posted videos, I didn't watch it all the way through, and then they say some very foul things, racist things, and you're like, oh my God, how did I post this? You know.
So a lot of trial and error.
There's no manual. A lot of trial and error. So, but now I know better from that. Now, and I hope those families could forgive me one day. And I really didn't mean to cause trauma to them. But these are the type of things that like live on your conscience. It's because you really weren't trying to, but you're trying to build something that you're doing it in a very, in my opinion, difficult community to do it in. Yeah. Running this account
and this, trying to be real, but you can't really be real.
It's extremely sensitive and hard. Yeah. Extremely, you're dealing with different nationalities, different personalities, different religious backgrounds,
cultures.
Even some people will be like, oh, you guys are all Muslims. Well, even in between the Muslims, it's extremely sensitive. Like, I'll tell you guys right now, the whole Ashura thing, and then you have like obviously the Sunni Shia arguments that happen under the comments. This is an issue. This is a big issue, and there's bad actors on both ends of the aisle. Yeah. Honest to God, both ends of the aisles. It's ridiculous in my opinion. But I'm very aware of this. But I try to balance it out, and I'll tell you how. I know there's a big Shia community in Dearborn. I know it's something that has to be reported on. I know they go out in the thousands, 1, 2, 3. I know that the comments at times could get messy, and no matter how many comments you delete, because there's going to be people that be like, why you close the comments down on this post? We want to comment. We want to express, for example, our love for Ahlul Bayt or whatever. What do you tell them? You have to keep it open. You have to monitor it. You have to suck it up.
The people.
But what I do that a lot of people don't know is, I'm like, okay, no problem. How can I be fair? I'm going to give like the Shia their week, right? But how about my Sunni audience? What I usually do for my Sunni audience is I like to cater the Ramadan Eid prayer, the end of Ramadan. I know like usually the ICD in Detroit or the South End Mosque, the one in Dix, they usually do their big prayer. I like to showcase that. I like to also, if you pay attention to some of my articles in the past, like throughout the year when it's not Ashura, I like to, even the optics for me matter. Like sometimes I'll show the people when they're praying, and I know I might get drilled for this. We're one ummah. I totally agree with you guys. Tell that to the people that are commenting, not me, I try to showcase, them praying the Sunni way. For me, it's a sense of balance. I just want to balance it, because in my opinion, it's not fair if I just post for Ashura, but I don't like cater. I only cater to my Shia followers. I have to cater to my Sunni followers. Naturally, I'm Shia, so naturally my bias growing up, and when I say bias, I don't mean I mean it in the sense of what I post that comes to mind. Right. I am not Sunni, so I don't know what Sunni culture is. I don't know, but like this is one of the things that there's no guide. There's nobody to guide you to this. Mm-hmm. It's very hard. It's very hard. You want to be as balanced as possible, you know.
So first of all, can we give that a round of applause, man? Because I know how hard that is, and honestly, people are coming to you for the guide
Or for the information.
or for the information.
Yeah,
It's tough, man.
It's very hard, and even when it comes down to the politics between. It could be like, I know there was like tension between the Yemeni and Lebanese community. It takes one rumor to destroy. I'll give you guys a great example. There was a day where there just happened to be 3 mugshots go up, and they all happened to be Yemeni that day. 3 separate stories. This was like sometime like I think 2 years ago. That day, just like how sometimes you get. There's times where Bazzies are on the news the whole week, you know. I still post them, but that day specifically, it was 3. So what ends up happening, people start coming up with rumors. Oh, he's anti-Yemeni. Look, he just blasted all these Yemenis. I'm like, brother, I'm not the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. I'm not the one who charged these people. Like, this is, it just happened to come out all in the same day, which sucks. But it comes with the territory, and you need to learn how to accept that people are gonna come up with these, you know,
no matter what
you do.
Yeah.
Listen, if I wanted to make everybody happy, I would be selling ice cream right now. I would not be doing what I'm doing.
You sure that's gonna make? You got the lactose intolerant people. they go complain.
You're not gonna.
You could never do that.
It's extremely difficult. And I'll tell you another time where oh my God. This is so bad. I used to have. I'll tell you another time where I learned the sensitivity of like the Yemeni community. One time, this was like back in 2018. Some article came out. I forgot who wrote it. And I had like I used to have people helping, a lot more people helping me then. MoCast has always been by my side helping me, but there's people who came, you know, through the years that, you know, helped in a way. One time somebody posted an article, I forgot who wrote it, something about like Yemeni women getting married at a young age, right? Something like that. It was a nasty article, you know. Man, that time was so ugly. Like, till this day, I don't think like we recovered from that. And it just was very poor oversight on my end. So I take like full responsibility for that. It was that's one of those things where you have to, I told you, it comes with a big responsibility, you know, because think about all the other people who are following, who are not Yemeni, that don't understand the Yemeni culture. They're going to read that garbage and they're going to believe it, you know, and that's going to fall back on you. It becomes your responsibility now. But that's not to say that I didn't upset the Lebanese community just as bad. Like, I could think of one thing right now. There was a guy, I don't want to name names out of the family's privacy, but he got killed in a crash on Ford Road in Oakman.
Ibrahim Samara. Ibrahim Samara. All right. I mean, I don't know if he's watching.
Ibrahim Samara.
Maybe he is. All right, we have the legend, the young legend. You know, I'm just learning that he was only 27 years old. We got a room full of journalists right now. Ibrahim Samara is on the phone. Talk to us, Ibrahim.
What's up, guys? Thanks. I'm just calling in on my favorite podcast. You know, I had to say hello. We got 2 of my favorite people in the room, and
Thank you.
Actually 4 of my favorite people in the room, because there's.
Yeah, my sisters, they felt some type of way when you were saying they had a face on them, Ibrahim. You got to be careful.
Listen, you guys do a great job on the show. And I see Moussa was on today, and I just wanted to ask him a question as far as, I just want to ask you, Moussa, when did you know you had something more than what you really originally started with TCD? At what point were you like, because you talked about the sensitivity and you know, the mass following, and so when was it? At what point were you like, I got something bigger than what I initially anticipated? That's my question.
I think I realized the caliber of what we have when me and Mocaz got, when we got approached by like the FBI regarding our page. Yeah. I think that's when I was like, holy shit, so this is really out there.
Do you want to dive into that? Like, why? Or you don't have to if you don't want to. Just want to throw that out there.
I don't really want to dive into it because I did speak to an attorney at the time,
Okay.
and that
No
attorney
problem.
advised me
Not to
that
talk
I don't
about.
have to speak with him,
Okay.
and that I don't have to talk to him. So it was Abed Ayoub at the time for the ADC. I remember I called him. I was like panicking. It was like, hey, don't worry. They do this to a lot of people, and like they were bringing up like my
Posts.
TCD and whatnot, but I think that's when I realized I'm like, okay, we're kind of out there now. So I was like, I kind of have to like
Watch what you would do and stuff, yeah.
God knows what's going on with me, but scary stuff, man. That's when I was like, holy shit, you know. But that was like that was definitely that's definitely when I realized, okay, so this is real in a sense that you know, this is
You have responsibility now in a way.
it's kind of, yeah. That's why, by the way, and I'm not afraid to say this, certain political posts, like I do turn off the comments just because, like, I know nobody means no harm, but like, you guys have to be careful. And this is not just with my pages, any page on social media. You guys really have to be careful. There's so many times where people got investigated for comments, like, and this is for all of social media. So that's my advice to people. Like, really be careful, man, because you might mean something in a joke-hearted way, you know, in a light-hearted way, but others won't see it that way. They'll report you.
Yeah.
So.
And Ibrahim, before you head out, obviously you were in the news. You know, recently, contract was terminated by CBS. Obviously, something that the whole community is disappointed in when it comes to the CBS situation. Not more about that, but more about, you know, how are you feeling right now, man? How are your spirits? You know, what's going on with Ibrahim Samara? Everything good with you, brother?
You know, when you take a look around the room on Monday, when I got to the, you know, obviously we had a press conference on Monday, and we talked about kind of how everything, you know, what was on our minds then. And I think right now, for me, it's just, I think I am more at peace with myself in my life, and I'm stronger because of this. And I'm still working at it. As far as, you know, how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, you know, what's next, I think a lot of people have asked me that question, and I think that's still to be determined. But as far as how I'm feeling, you know, when you do the right thing, I feel like I did the right thing. I feel like I did what it was in my heart, you know. And for me, journalism is so important. We have to make sure that we get around to everyone. As Moussa said, you know, he said, you know, he is naturally Shia, and he has to make sure he caters to also the Sunni community. And in this case, in journalism, we have to cater to all communities, no matter what the pressure there is, because journalism at the end of the day is pursuing the truth at no cost, you know, because that's how far you have to be willing to go, you know. And I know that in every story I've ever done, it's always been about that. And I always pleaded to anyone at the highest level that the moment the story became about me, I will never do journalism again. And for me, I always made sure that it was never about me. And so who knows what happens next? You know, we'll see. But at the end of the day, I just want anyone who is looking to pursue journalism to not be discouraged, to not feel like they have to stay quiet. You know, it's our right to be able to be who we are, and also we can also do our jobs at the same time. You know, we're allowed to have a life, and one that's not censored, and one that we don't have to pronounce our names differently, or we have to change who we are, or we have to cater to society because it makes them feel comfortable. So what about us? We have to feel comfortable too in the setting that we are in. So, you know, never be discouraged. Speak up, and at the end of the day, especially when it comes to journalism, you do a story, just imagine that being your family. You want to treat it with the ultimate respect, but also you have to have some journalistic integrity and ethics, and you have to report the facts and not speculate. So that's at the end of the day, that's my advice. That's where I'm at with everything. I can't really get into the case at all, but I appreciate this podcast. I appreciate the platform you give to people to speak their minds, and Oz Media, my favorite community podcast.
I appreciate you, but I'm going to give him a round of applause, man. This guy right here, mashallah. I was, talking to a few people. I don't know many 27-year-olds who would stand up for what they believe in, knowing that it would probably risk their career and their job. I don't want to say their career, their job, because I know you have a bright future, inshallah, ahead of you. Much respect to you, Ibrahim, and for me, again, learning how you were just 27 years old just makes it even greater of a story. I can't wait to see what you do in the future, Ibrahim. Keep up the great work, and just, if you ever need anything, we know what was the reason why you couldn't come on before. So, the podcast is, you're more than welcome, Ibrahim, to come on now at any time. Just know that that opportunity is here for you, man. Just let me know.
Thank you so much. Thank you to your entire team. Moussa, keep doing what you're doing, and
Thank you.
I'll be fact checking you too. It's not just the Dearborn police. I'll be fact checking you too.
Actually, Ibrahim is one of those people. I actually called him up a few times when I'm a little bit uneasy about certain posts. He was one of the people I'll pick up the phone and I will call. He knows that. So there was a few times where I just didn't fully understand because of the background of the story. I would call him and I'd get his advice on it, so he was one of those people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We got to all be in a room one time and just have a nice conversation as well, man. But I appreciate you calling on, Ibrahim.
Thanks, guys.
Yellow, man. That was awesome. I just want to quickly read off this comment, and then maybe we give you a quick break, because you've been going at it, man.
Keep it going. I'm in the zone right now.
Yeah, you are. Thank you, Moussa. This is from Iman Ali Ahmed, her principal.
Oh, she's amazing. I love her.
Yes, she's
the best.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
All right, and the TCD team for all the work that you do and highlighting the positive things happening in the community. And you are always the first to announce the snow days. Keep them coming. So she mentioned that as well. They're all about the snow days, the teachers and the educators. We're going to quickly run a quick ad, very quick. Shout out to Qahwah House. We appreciate them and their support. Yes, for sure. So we're going to give a shout out to the Qahwah House, and then we're going to keep things rolling. So shout out to the Qahwah House.
If you're ever in need of some coffee, then you have to stop by the best place in the country. You know what that is, Yusuf?
Yeah, man, it's got to be the Qahwah House.
It's definitely the Qahwah House. It's the first Yemeni coffee shop of its kind. You can stop by Qahwah House to try their famous Yemeni lattes, Adani shahis, mafawad, and jubani coffees. You can also stop by to try their delicious pastries, such as the Yemeni favorite sabaya, everything mini bites, and they even serve sambusas. They have locations in Michigan, New Jersey, New York, and Illinois, with more locations coming to a state near you. So no matter where you're at in the country, be sure to stop by Qahwah House and get a glimpse of what the Yemeni culture is all about. Also, don't forget to download the new Qahwah House app. You can now order your coffee and go, skipping the line entirely. It's like having your own personal barista.
You're doing a great job, by the way. I want to hear my sister's thoughts on everything so far. I want to make sure they over here, I know they're absorbing everything.
She crossed her arms. That's not a good sign.
No. I could only imagine how much the pressure is. Even us on this podcast, sometimes, of course we speak what we want to say, right? But we always have to make sure we're culture appropriate, making sure we're not, hurting anyone's feelings or whatever. So, especially before when I started, I was always nervous all the time,
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure you kind of
it's
gravitated and known how to kind of relax yourself and figure it out, kind of. So
I'm telling you, trial and error. You only way to learn is when you mess up with something like this. And sometimes those, even another sensitive issue or sensitive topic is deaths, in Dearborn.
Just with Arab too, Arab obviously.
It's very sensitive, and here's my take on it. Okay. When a person's very young and they pass in the community, especially when they were a prominent person, people are gonna find out. It's there are times where the family doesn't want it up, and the other, and maybe sometimes even the families have a dispute. Some of them wanted up to get people to attend the funeral. So that is still till this day by far the trickiest thing. Now, when somebody gets killed in like an accident or God forbid a shooting, something like that, at that point, it's considered, news. This person got shot and killed. This is, this is news and information at this point for the community. So I know sometimes like families might have trouble processing that, and who am I? I sit down, I post these things every day. I'm like, man, like I could end up behind bars too. I'm not perfect. Like I do things that are, that I'm not a perfect human. So and I don't know. You always think like, look, when I put up my news. But when I put up certain stories, there's other pages that run certain stories that I don't. That I learned the hard way that, this is not news. This is people struggling. There was something about like, in the past, a Dearborn family that got hit with like food stamp fraud for like $25,000, over the span of like 3 years. Or I forgot what the story was, but it was a petty number. And I remember I ran that. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, and half the comments were, in support of the story. They're like, obviously you get your reactions. And then the other half were like, like this is probably a family that's struggling. And I thought about it. I'm like, this is probably a family in East Dearborn who is probably really struggling, and they just didn't make the smartest decision. And now look what's happening to them. So there's a lot of those stories every day. You could go to the 19th District Court. You could go to downtown. You could pick up stories on so many people, but people are going through it sometimes. But the people who I do not care for, and I will blast them consistently, and I get a pleasure out of doing it, are the pharmacists who give people pills, and they know they're hooking them on pills, just because I seen it firsthand how it could destroy a family, So I have no remorse for those people, those doctors. And I don't care how many comments, even if I get 1,000 comments saying he's innocent, the feds aren't idiots. When they come in and they raid you and they hit you on $20-30 million fraud, they're doing it for a reason. These are not people that woke up one day, let's just hit him, Haram, take this down. No, we're not taking it. Haram, how about the mother who's up at night crying because her son is addicted onto Xannies and Vicodin, or has to take Suboxone, and basically their son is dead. It's just somebody who needs to feed their addiction, But haram, we're exposing this guy's family. But how about the mother that is in pain, the father that is in pain, that pretty much in their head, they already buried their son, like they already lost their son, or their daughter. That's kind of the things that still that some people might disagree with me with, why do you have to blast people? Like, it's not me blasting them. They blasted themselves.
Yeah.
And someone else is going to report on it at the end of the day.
It's like, okay, you want me to cover it up? No problem. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be 110% honest with you guys. There is not one news outlet in the world that is not in a way biased or covers up certain things. It's 100% true, but what they tell you as a kid, it's all about who you know. And when you get older, it really is all about who you know. So there's certain things that just I don't know if I want to get in much into it, but
I feel like if the news is going to help society to make them safer, then like a break-in, or like the pharmaceutical industry being fraudulent, like those, that's affecting society as a whole. You're telling the news to protect the society. Now, when you were saying
it gets complicated when you end up knowing the people too, and then they call you, and but I'm making it clear I'm stepping away. There's a team that's going to be running it, so I'm don't call me anymore. Look, I try to be fair. If I put something up, okay, you're proven guilty by the court, you're getting charged. I maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe in the 12, 13 years that I've been operating this thing, maybe out of those years, there was once or a couple times where maybe this should have never been posted, and I hope those families could forgive me for something like that if the person turned out to be proven guilty, but I innocent. But I believe 99.99% of the time, especially if you look at our track record for the past 4 years, the only time you see a mugshot on there or something like that, that's because the person got charged with a crime. It's not me going out there and
trying to find the mugshot and trying to get them in.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that, Dearborn police puts out in a press release, for example. Like the guy who raped the woman. I didn't go out there and try to find. No, he did it. So
can I just say something on your behalf, man? Because somebody that I guess I studied the journalism field, and first of all, you're 100% right. All these media networks are owned by people that, trust me, you don't want them to be owning these media networks.
Yeah.
So they're reporting on the news. You don't believe us? Go ahead and turn on one of the major networks right now and see what they're talking about, just on what's going on in Palestine and Gaza. But going back to what you're saying, like, people are going to report on it. The fact that you feel, first of all, you've taken accountability on some stuff that other people would never take accountability of, just on this show alone. So that just speaks volume on the kind of person that you are. And the fact that you're showing remorse for every single thing, like half of this show has been you like feeling bad about situations, which is tells you that, like, man, if you talk to
you want to know recently what was a very hard situation on me, to the point where, like, I'm just so sick of this doing this. I don't want to keep doing this anymore. There was I don't want to give the exact date because people will know what I'm talking about, but there was a fatal crash in Dearborn. Okay, somebody, I don't want to say the gender, I want to, because I ended up removing that, because there's certain things that eat at your conscience at night, and I can't sleep, honest to God. There was a fatal crash in Dearborn. Somebody hit somebody and killed somebody. Okay, I went to the scene. The road is closed off. There's yellow tape and everything. Obviously, at this point, it's newsworthy. A road is shut down in Dearborn because somebody got hit and killed. This is something that's going to end up being on the news. This is something that Dearborn police themselves are going to come out to the public and say. So obviously I went there to go do my thing, to go get footage of the scene and whatever. And then the person's father came up to me and asked me, please don't run this. I know who you are. They explained to me how their child is in very bad mental shape right now. And obviously it was an accident. Now you're in the worst predicament of your life, but I was like, I put it in my head that I have a job to do, right? So I posted it. I still posted it. I'm like, I have a job to do. People were already DMing and saying, hey, why is this road blocked off with yellow tape? And it's blocked off for hours because, when there's a fatal accident, it's shut down for quite a while. They have to do the whole crash reconstruction and everything. And then that night, I'm like, it starts eating at you, like the girl's father, and you're like, I'm just adding to that pain of the family. And that's when I started realizing, I'm like, I don't think I could really do this anymore, in the sense. It's hard. If it was a major road, I would have never removed it, because at that point it's like, okay, I get it. I feel out for the family a lot, but at the same time, a major road is getting. This wasn't a major road. This was like a kind of a residential street in Dearborn. That isn't a very popular residential street. So then I'm like, you know what? It's just not worth it for me. It's not a major road. It's not going to make or break me. And I went back and I removed the post. I removed it. I took it down. But man, there's so much. So when I tell you this robs you of your mental health, it really does rob you of your mental health, because day in, day out, and this is like certain scenarios, but like day in, day out, there's like certain things, like you always get punked out. Every week I get punked out at least once once every week, because there's so many charities in Dearborn. God bless Dearborn, the best city. There is a million charities. I can't even keep up. What ends up happening? They all reach out to me. They're like, hey, can you post this for us? It's for this charity. It's for this cause, for overseas, blah, blah. You get so many requests per day. I'm like, hey, listen, I'll share it in the story for free. We don't charge. For the first time, we'll do it for free for you. But there has to be some form of control in the sense with GoFundMes, with charities. So much GoFundMes. It's unbelievable the amount of GoFundMes that come in. But imagine I was a fair person, and if I was a fair person, take away like the control. The control for me, I don't know if I'm saying these words right, but for me the control is okay, there's a price you have to pay in order to be on there. That's my form of control. That's the only way to control it. If anybody has a better way to control it, let me know.
Yeah, and then you don't want to feel like you're picking and choosing.
Yeah, number one, you don't want to feel like you're picking and choosing. You don't want to do that. But think about it like this. You're me right now. You have, in a week, you probably have 40 charities that want posts up. Charities, GoFundMes, stuff like that, right? Imagine you post them all. Guess what will happen? By the end of 2 or 3 months, you won't have an audience anymore.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but that's the bottom line. That's the truth. You will not have an audience anymore. On top of that, you got to think about your audience too. You want them to donate, right? Do you think after the 10th charity they're going to be donating? They're going to swipe right through it.
Yeah.
And that's the honest to God truth. So I was like, okay, we'll do a nonprofit rate. That's what I started doing. I do a nonprofit rate. If somebody out there has a better solution, I am more than willing to hear it. But as of right now, I studied this for so long, there's no better solution. And at the same time, I try to give back. There's a lot of charities that I share at no cost too. There's like, for example, Iman Ali Ahmed was one of them.
Yeah. Our basketball game as well.
Yeah.
You did that from the love too.
So but it's hard, because now imagine the other charities that will watch this. Oh, but he didn't share ours, and that's when the rumors start.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because maybe because I'm from northern Lebanon and not southern Lebanon, or maybe it's because this and that.
Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you this right now, man. You're in a position where
my cousin Hamid Dakroub says it best. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
I will always be in a win-lose situation. I will never be in a win-win. I will always be in a win-lose.
And I want to read off so that you can understand that it's not just me that thinks like this, because you got to understand, Corner Pocket said to continue your credibility as a news outlet, you have to do what you have to do. So good on you. Keep it up, TCD, the Corner Pocket. Qamar said, welcome, TCD. Hello, beautiful people. It's true, no one's perfect. The news in any platforms are to show awareness. May Allah guide us all. There you go. So sad how, then she talked about the pills spread like candy and stuff. So like, and I'm sure everyone here in this room would agree, but like, it's natural for you as a human for you to feel the way that you're feeling. But I promise you, man, you're doing great work. You're doing amazing work.
I try.
We need you. And we need you as a community.
And I realize that I have a lot of, like, to whom much is given, much is tested. And that's very true, because you could really change. Like I've been reading up a lot about psychology and like news and like how propaganda works and everything. It's crazy that if I really want people to feel unsafe, I could literally do that. It'll take me a couple months, but if I start running articles every single day about, let's say, vehicle break-ins, by the time 6 months goes by, you're just gonna think Dearborn vehicle break-ins.
Yeah, it's true. You read some of the comments already.
Just like Dearborn rollover accidents, because how many times you see the rollover accidents? But look, honestly, Dearborn's a pretty safe city. Wallah, it is.
No, I agree.
Everyone thinks Dearborn drivers are the craziest drivers.
Look,
and then we see the scat pack in a picture. You know what I'm saying?
That's the rumor.
Look, I'm not gonna disagree with them. I almost got killed a few times, But Dearborn's a very, very, very special, very
unique,
very unique place. Dearborn, the landscape of Dearborn itself is changing. It really is. If you look at Dearborn from 20 years ago and you look at it now and the population growth, and for example, I'll give you a great one. What the Yemeni community has done in the last 10 to 15 years is insane. Did you guys drive by Jabal at night and see what's going on there in like Qahwah House?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We drive by Jebel to go to Qahwah House, by the way, on this show, by the way. I just want to throw that out.
I can't drive by that area. You're going to be stuck in traffic.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
crazy.
And then you got what's his name? The cookie place?
TYB.
Treat You Better right there. That whole corner is hot.
I will say this with full confidence. Treat You Better has the best cookie. And there's only one cookie I eat from there, and it's the best cookie I've ever had is the Biscoff. He knows that. Insane.
I'm gonna send this to him. So
the best cookie. I don't care what foodie you get to review it or who you guys get. The Biscoff cookie, when it comes off fresh and it's hot, it's still warm, and it just melts in your mouth. The best cookie. But get ready for your blood pressure to spike. I'll put you in a coma.
You may have helped us get a sponsor right there, man. I'm gonna
he better sponsor. That's look. Man, there's certain businesses, like honest to God, I will literally be scrolling on my page sometimes at night and I see like certain businesses or whatever, and I'll be like, haram, man. I look at their ad, I'm like, they're trying. So I'll throw them up in my story. Wallah, I don't know where. I'll toss them in there. I'll throw them a tag because it's like, why not? They're trying to make a living. They're trying to help out. Even with my prices, I think I'm very fair. Like with the advertising, I truly try to help out. Like if there's a lady cooking from her home, like I'm not gonna sit down and like crack her like she's at law office or something. I want to try to help her out. I get it. It's hard.
And respect to you, man.
And
we got people completely packed. My wife completely packed. Lines wrapped 100%.
Wrap, bro. West Dearborn. West Dearborn. What Abdullah Hamoud did to Dearborn is. Can
we give him a round of applause, man? Shout out to Abdullah Hamoud, by the way. We appreciate him. Came on the show.
Abdullah is transforming Dearborn, and just wait and you see to what's coming. This is the best mayor this city has ever had.
He understands the old, the young, the
old, the young. He gets it. He's a very supportive, and it's and people. What's wrong with our community? We're so quick to attack each other.
Oh yeah.
It really.
Imagine if everybody united.
Oh, that would be the perfect world.
Yeah.
It's so quick to attack each other. So quick to. There's a lot of even with the page, there's a lot of politics involved with it. There's a lot of it's very. It's so tough. Difficult. Yeah, it's very tough.
Well, first of all, Moussa, shout out to you, man.
Shout out to you guys, and you guys are doing something great here. I'm not gonna lie, I was very nervous. I still am nervous.
Nice.
But I'm like, this is like I don't know. I just felt like this is the right podcast for me to get some things off my chest. To be honest with you, I felt like this is a podcast. Like I want to come in and just get these. And hopefully the people that got affected by these posts, they see it one day and they see that it's not what it seemed to be.
Yeah. No, we appreciate you, first of all, for coming on and sharing your story, man. Honestly, you did an amazing job. It was one of those shows where, we typically are here for you, the guest, and wanted to hear what you had to say. And but we appreciate you, and we do want to hit them with the last couple questions, which basically, we typically do this Motivate Me 3 minute, where we ask for advice from you, and so I guess the question is like, what advice do you have for people out there who have a hard time accomplishing their goals they set out for themselves? Because you're a guy that I felt like obviously you had to sit down one day back in maybe 2012, like you were saying, and you said, hey, this is what I want to do. And you,
probably
mashallah,
have people behind you saying, yeah, do it. You probably just
yeah.
Look,
so
you're gonna
what advice?
If you believe in something, you have to you have to pursue it. If you're gonna sit down and listen to the people, like if I sit down and I listen to all the people in the past almost 12 years who their job was nothing to just completely talk so down on what I have built, what me and Mocas and have built and tear that down, then you're not going to get anywhere in life, because you're never going to please everybody. And I learned that you will never please everybody. You'll never make everybody happy. And I realized, you know what, my happiness should come first. My wife's happiness should come first. You know, me and my family should come first. And I'm like, okay, as long as I know morally with God what I'm doing, if I'm not exposing children to sex, if I'm not exposing them to, you know, marijuana on there, I'm not trying to, if I'm not trying to tear down the Muslim community, if I'm not trying to do, you know, if my intentions are pure, if I believe my intentions are pure, then I'm going to continue to do what I do. And if I'm doing something wrong, inshallah, God corrects me in the most worst way possible. I'm ready for it. If God needs to humble me, I think God humbled me a lot. I personally think I'm a very humble person. I don't like to go out there and say who I am, or I'm very shy. I'm very humble. I'm very, I don't know. It's just.
You are humble, man.
If I'm doing something wrong, correct me, help me out. You know, people are so quick to attack. These people who attacked me for the past 12 years, instead of attacking me right away on your stories, reach out to me and be like, hey, maybe you should do this better, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying. You know, I'm not going to go anywhere. And I'm always going to be in your feed one way or another. Even if you don't follow me, my goal is for a screenshot of something I reported to end up in your family WhatsApp or your family group chat. You get what I'm saying? One way or another, you will never escape me as long as you're in the city. So if you don't like how I'm operating, reach out to me. Tell me, hey, here's my advice. And it works. It gets to me. It really does. I'm not perfect. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Honestly, at this point, I'm so drowned into it that maybe I sometimes I feel like I forgot my focus, you know? So, but I believe in God. I believe God has a plan for everybody. I believe that I don't go out my way to harm people. There's certain businesses in the city that serve people complete garbage when it comes down to food. You know, I got disrespected at a few restaurants. They didn't know who I was. But I never used my power to abuse their business. You know, my mother got disrespected at a restaurant one time. They literally kicked her out because she didn't have she didn't follow the rules or something about a reservation. I didn't go on there, and as angry as I was, I had to realize I'm like, I had to take a step back and be like, this is not what TCD is. It's not out here to attack people. There's people who've done me dirty. There's people who, many things. People who cussed me out. People who cussed out my family. There's people who, but I never go out my way to go on the attack. So. But
you don't use your platform for yourself, or for,
if anything, my bias and my political views, I never let it resonate through TCD. Never. I never sit down and be like, oh, I agree with this, I'm gonna put it up. No, I'm just gonna report on what there is to be reported.
Honestly, I would have never known if it was a girl or a guy or what culture.
Yeah, I literally try to keep it as balanced as I humanly possibly can. You're
doing a great job.
I do not care. I am not a perfect Muslim. I don't care. You know how many times, just like back to that Sunni Shia thing, you know how many times, even from my own community, the Shia, I'm like, you guys are like, sometimes it's like, it's craziness. Like from my own community. If anything, I get attacked the most from my own community.
It'd be your own people, they said.
From the own Lebanese Shia community during Ashura that will come after me for certain things because I didn't do this right. Or you get what I'm saying? It's all the same. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's but I try to leave it balanced. If you guys are here, it's nice meeting you guys, but if I ever do something wrong, honestly, correct me. Tell me, Moussa, this is not right, and inshallah, I'll continue to prove, and unfortunately, mistakes are bound to happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm happy we had this show, man. Because number one, I'm happy because I felt like you had to say some things that you had to put out there, and it probably inshallah helps you out internally as well.
I really hope so. There's so much more. I know our time is limited, and you know, I know I'm gonna leave. I'm like, man, I should have probably brought this up, or I know I'm gonna beat my.
Well, you know, the door's always open for you, man. You know what I'm saying? You could bring Mocaz, get him on the show too. Bring him on here, man.
Mocaz is definitely he'll be a good guest to have. By the way, he's Iraqi. My wife is Iraqi.
Nice.
I'm Lebanese. I married Iraqi, you know, and I know, like, I'm not trying to say, oh, look at me, I'm inclusive or whatever.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I'm not
for sure.
I'm not your typical.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's what people got to know sometimes, man. Like some people like to.
So I went out of I'm not like too culturized in the sense where like I don't know how to say it. I don't know if I'm saying anything wrong.
You're not close-minded. You're open-minded.
You fear God and you're a good person.
Look, I fear God. I'm a good person, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much
and
it.
You're human.
Human, yeah. We make errors, man.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. But you know, with that being said, that doesn't mean like
you learn from your mistakes.
You still got to be very careful of what you put up. It just takes one, bro. Like one time, I had a guy who his family, they literally sent me a sheet like from the American Muslim Society, the South End Mosque, saying that he's dead and everything in his picture. And they sent me this off Facebook. It was so legitimate. Like, and we posted it. Then the kid messages me 20 minutes later after it got like 200 comments and everything of people saying, he was like, hey, I'm not dead.
Oh my God.
And then next thing I found out is that his family is beefing with him, and his own family did that on purpose. And they fooled not just me, but like a few other Dearborn pages too, to think he was dead, to get back at him for like some family drama or something.
Oh my God.
I know, man. This happened to me so far twice in the past like 12 years. But here's the thing. You're gonna get a flyer from the mosque that's very legitimate, from somebody whose Instagram account is very legitimate. And what are you gonna do? Tell them, hey, I can't post your family member? You know what they're gonna hit you with? Why? Is it because this and that and that?
Yeah.
It's not easy, man. My wife just put part 2, by the way, so they want a part 2. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I got a lot of interesting stories. I think you guys will be very intrigued by.
I know you're laughing, but inshallah we can talk more about it afterwards. We're serious. You know, we'd love to have you come back. You know, future if there's something else you'd like to discuss. In the meantime, before I give y'all final words and final comments, I just want to throw it out there again. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials. You got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all under Oz Media. You'll be able to listen to the show later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. Shout out to the sponsors, Qahwah House, BC Adhesives, Juice Box. You got Specialty Medical Center and Hanley International Academy, as well as the Balkan House Restaurant. We appreciate them and all their support. We'll start off from right to left. Sada, any final words, final comments?
Thank you for making time to coming on here.
Of course.
And speaking your truth.
Yeah.
Your phone is probably buzzing and blowing of all these new news the past hour, and I appreciate that you stuck through and came on here.
No, of course. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And may Allah always keep your intentions pure.
Inshallah.
And only grow your page for positive, inshallah.
Inshallah.
What I want to say is you are the page that we need. You know, I was kind of mentioning this, and then the show kind of coming up. You know, people like Ibrahim Samra and people like that who, they work for these networks, and that's kind of what made me shy away from even going into those situations, because I felt like these situations would be coming where we won't be allowed to tell our own story. You are our network, man. I'm telling you that you are there for us, for the community. We appreciate you.
The community always, in a way, needs a voice, and I'm happy to be there. And the positive stories might not do the best, but at least for those who care, they're out there. So I mean, it is what it is.
Keep up the great work. I gave you the stats of you out there out doing things that newspapers have been going on for I don't know how long. The Free Press and the Trade News have been out there for. So you are the new media. So congratulations. Keep up the great work, Moussa.
They don't have the clickbait that you have.
You know what? I'll be honest with you guys. I do have to tweak my headlines sometimes to make them like very attractive.
Yeah, it's part of journalism.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Or no one's gonna read it.
Yeah. So appreciate you. Any final words from you, Moussa? Any final comments?
May Allah bless you guys. You guys definitely have a great setup, and inshallah, nothing but success for this podcast in the future. I'm telling you, I've never really done this before. I have never done this before, but you know, I've viewed you guys' content, and there's a reason why I'm here today, because I feel like this is a good, genuine podcast to be on. So, and I don't know, I just like it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Moussa. Again, this was season 3, episode 25 of Motivate Me 313's podcast. We got to know the man behind TCD today. Now, whenever we see that, we're going to be like, oh, man, I wonder. I mean, that's Moussa. You know what I'm saying? It's funny.
Hope Moussa's doing okay today.
Yeah, hope Moussa's doing okay. Like, that must have been a tough story for him to post right there. You know what I mean? That's what we're going to do. So thank you, Moussa. Again, we appreciate you and all the work that you do for our communities. We hope that you guys enjoy this episode, rather if you watch it live or you watch it later or you listen to it later. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back this Saturday. You know, I'm going to be talking to Dr. Shadi. He actually was in Palestine. He's going to be here this Saturday to talk about his experience. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. Be safe. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you all next time.